Hello, my friends. It is day 243, and we're reading Ezekiel chapter 16 through Ezekiel chapter 17. But before we get into our recap today, I want to thank you for taking the opportunity to check out this video. Hopefully, you're enjoying the yearly Bible reading program, and I pray you're getting a lot out of the daily readings. Surely, we are moving along, and it's never too late to get into the group, if for no other reason but to gain inspiration and a head start on next year. If you don't feel like you can finish this year, it's okay, and don't count yourself out. You may be able to go ahead and complete it by the end of the year. So we are thankful, and that we have the opportunity to study. Now today we are continuing our reading in the book of Ezekiel, and we're reading chapters 16 and 17. And these were two chapters, just a few chapters today, but it was very, very powerful, very impactful, because it helps us understand the sins of Israel, and in particular Judah. And there's just one thing that I really gained out of this text, and I want to just identify one takeaway today. The one takeaway that I had from today's reading was regarding the way God depicts his relationship with Judah. He refers to her as an unfaithful wife, and we've seen this before in Haggai Hosea, and it is very interesting to see that this kind of passage is still being used, or this sort of idea, motif is still being used as we read through the Old Testament. It just goes to show you how serious God is about the covenant that exists between him and Jerusalem. He is personally offended, as if a husband would be by an unfaithful bride, or a bride by an unfaithful husband. So the imagery here is meant to be piercing. And I was thinking about this last Sunday, how delicate we are, how safe we are in our preaching. Obviously, we want to be conscious of the various things that are happening around us and how, we might affect our audience. But what I want to show you is whenever the prophets were speaking, they had one purpose in mind: to pierce the heart of the people enough to cause them to think about their particular state and make a decision to follow God and repent. And that meant at times their messages were very, very dramatic. Their expressions were very dramatic. The way in which they depicted the message was even dramatic. And again, that's one of the reasons why they were really effective. So chapter 16 was really interesting. The way that prophet Ezekiel goes all the way back to Israel's infancy, if you will, depicting her as just an abandoned child that was brought in, cleaned up, and made ready for the covenant marriage that they would share, is a masterful depiction of how God must be processing all of this. Now, when we read through the remainder of the chapter, we see that Babylon is on her way, that there will be great sorrow for Israel, and Babylon is depicted as these in this story of eagles. And this is very important because we're going to see the same sort of symbolism in the New Testament to refer to Rome. So the purpose and the picture will be very clear. There will be no mistake about what is going on. So we have a lot to read, but a lot of this is, and what you'll find is, a lot of times whenever the Bible is trying to depict something about Israel's condition, it says the same thing in a variety of different ways. That's just the nature of prophecy. That's the nature of the Bible. It is to continue to emphasize a point that is often overlooked, often avoided, ignored, but use different ways of trying to get the audience to pay attention to what is being said. And we see the same thing here. So not much different from Jeremiah, but the emphasis and the consistency is what we want to pay attention to, because it shows the heart of God, his desire to reach his people by any means necessary. And if nothing else, it shows his long suffering. And so we appreciate that. But let me know what you're thinking. Leave some comments in the comment box below. I'd love to know your thoughts, and I believe it would be a blessing to us all. Until next time, thank you for watching. Take care. God bless. And remember, live by the word.